hope to God that it actually works. Okay, so first thing I want to talk to you guys about is conference, okay? And I wanted to share with you guys the value of conference and how important it is to be there. Conference is actually something that boosts your business because there's trainings and it's a whole new vibe. It's something that you don't get with your normal 9-to-5 job. It's a whole atmosphere that you can't feel over a computer screen, okay? And it's because you're surrounded by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other men and women who are fighting for a better life of freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of financial status, freedom of everything. Okay. And so I want to share with you guys that, I've been to conference 3 different times. And what's really crazy is before conference, every single time I've gone, I have been probably at one of my low points in my business, one of the hardest times of my business. And I felt like I was falling off the bandwagon or so on and so forth, right? However, I go to conference and I come back and I always double promote pretty much every single time. So, and it's not pretty much, it is every single time that it happens. The last time that we went to conference with a bunch of girls that were on our team, every single person promoted the very next month. And so if that tells you anything, it should definitely tell you that you should get your butt to conference because it's going to be a game changer. And if you're treating it like a business, you would get yourself there. It is not going to be recorded. And we do have a hotel that's already rented. So if you are struggling to find a hotel or, place to stay while you're down there, or even know how to come up with the money to make it happen, get with me. Send me a personal message. I do not care if you are my downline immediate on my top line or not. I want you to send me a message because I want to see you there. And I want to help you get there and also help you figure out financially how you're going to do it with these bonuses that we're going to talk about tonight. Okay. So that's number one, first and foremost. Number two, the Zoom calls are happening every single Wednesday and most Thursdays. Okay. Thursdays, we do skip it sometimes if there's a lot of Zoom calls that are lined up throughout the week from other ambassador leaders. For example, tomorrow we're not having a Zoom call, but next Thursday we will have a Zoom call with Stacy Lease. And I am actually on there and I'm a guest speaker. So I'm super excited about it. It's the first time she's ever asked me to do something like this. But we've been talking a lot lately. And so I'm super pumped to help you guys. We're going to talk a lot about distributors when we get on, and I'm going to share my story and all that good stuff. So there's going to be some stuff that you might not have even known that I was doing. I try to stay super transparent with you guys, but it's bound to teach you something different every single time, especially because when you've got 2 leaders who are bouncing back and forth, there's certain things that are bound to come up that don't usually come up in a normal conversation with downline. Okay. So I'm super excited about that. Every Wednesday night, there is a Zoom call that happens on Wednesday, though. Wednesdays are my baby. I've been doing these literally for the last 5 years. I've held myself accountable and I have shown up on these. And I don't do it for myself. And I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I do this for you. Do I want to show up every Wednesday? Sometimes I don't. I'm going to be real. Sometimes I don't. But I do it anyways because I know I've got an entire team that needs to make money. And I know that if I don't show up for you, then it's going to be harder and harder for you to show up for yourself, for your business. Okay. So it's important that your leaders show up for you. And that's what I'm doing. So all I ask in return is to make it a priority for you to get yourself here. And it doesn't matter if you're listening to it while you're taking a shower. It doesn't matter if you're laying down with your babies. I don't mind, just as long as you're listening in and you're tuning in. That is the most important part. Okay. So set your alarms on your phone, write it down on your whiteboard, write it down on a piece of paper and stick it all over your house. I don't care how you have to do it, but make it a priority to get on your Zoom calls every single week because they're going to be a game changer for you. And it only takes one. And one thing said on one Zoom that changes everything for you. Think about myself, and I share the story all the time. There was one Zoom call that we did where there was a leader that had talked about it. And she said, you just got to do more. And I was thinking to myself, well, what the heck do you mean more? And she started talking about it's more. It's like you do, everything that you're supposed to do. If you're sending 20 messages and that's your goal, just do one more. Just do one more, just do one more. And she talked about it in a way that it just clicked. I had heard that multiple times before, but the way that she worded it was everything. And so I was so thankful that I showed up on that Zoom call because if I didn't, I would not be where I am today. So Zoom calls are so important for that reason because they teach you things that you need to hear. And they might be a little repetitive, but it's going to take that one person or that one way that that person said that, that's going to change everything for you. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3, building up, building up to everything that you do now. Sorry, I have notes and I'm like reading it off and I didn't read it before I got started. I planned them earlier today. Okay. I've been at gymnastics and all these things. So I come back to these notes and I'm like, what the heck, Chelsea? So anyways, I want to kind of share this with you guys because I know we got a couple of new girls on that haven't heard this analogy yet. Okay. And so with this business, think about this business like I would say like a crop field, right? Or like a field that has tons of different crops in it, if you don't know what that is. And you are a farmer, right? Think about when you are adding people on social media, okay? That is you physically getting the seeds to plant your harvest, okay? You need the seeds in order to plant it, right? You can't just have a stalk of corn just randomly show up in your field. It's not going to happen. You have to physically get your seeds and plant them in order to make it happen. So when you're adding people, you're actually going and getting and buying your seeds or getting them from wherever you're getting them, okay? Now, how you plant those seeds is by sending a message. Okay. So think about your business like that. You are now buying the seeds or getting the seeds, and then you are planting them. The more seeds that you get, correct me if I'm wrong, the more you can actually plant, right? So it's so important to get as many seeds as you possibly can, and then in turn plant as many seeds as you can, meaning the more you add, the more you can message. But hear me out, this is where it all makes sense. Now those plants don't just grow overnight, right? It doesn't just, you plant it and you water it once and it just sprouts and that's just how it is. No, it takes time. It takes consistently watering it, giving it sunlight, making sure that it's taken care of. And that's where you get your following up and your posting every single day. These people that are being added on your Facebook, you're also messaging them. Now you got to take care of them. You have to water them. You have to give them sunlight. And the best way to do that is to send your follow-ups consistently. It's going to take time and it's going to take consistency every single day. But we are in what we call the seed planting season, which means that you are going to be planting your seeds like a crazy person right now. The more seeds that you get, the more seeds you can plant, and the more seeds that you plant and water and water and water and give it sunlight, the bigger your harvest will be come the spring. Okay, it's not going to be overnight. It is so important to understand that. However, the more you do, the more you're going to make. And so that's why it's important to understand that everything that's going to happen come the new year, everything that's going to happen come conference, when they drop those big bonuses and when they drop everything they're about to give to us at conference, you don't want to be that person sitting on the sidelines saying, well, I don't know how to get my seeds, right? You want to be that person who's lined up saying, yeah, I planted my seeds. Yeah, I got as many as I could. Yep, I'm ready for this harvest. I'm ready to make this happen. And so that you have the biggest harvest out there, right? You want to make sure that you are showing up for it right now, because your bonus season does not start on January 1st. It does not start when conference starts. It starts now. It starts with everything you're doing right now. It's adding up and adding up and adding up and adding up. And then it's going to become this residual business that's going to keep going and keep going and keep going. But it takes you actually showing up every single day and getting as many seeds and collecting as many seeds as you possibly can and planting as many seeds as you possibly can. And then come, springtime and even this winter in December, you're going to see an explosion with, everything in your business, which is your entire harvest. Okay. So I think it's important to understand that analogy before we get going. So we are actually going to talk about this bonus tonight. So I'm so freaking excited. How many of you guys watched Cheyenne Knox video last night, whether it be watching the replay or watching it today? Just raise your hand, or you can put a fire emoji in our team chat or whatever. So that video seriously fired me up last night so much. I did not want to go to bed. I didn't go to bed until 2 o'clock this morning. And then I woke up at 6 a.m. So it's really crazy how much the power of a Zoom call lingers in you, and it gets you excited. It gets you fired up. And if you're not fired up for your business, that means that your reason why you're doing this in the first place needs to switch out. That means that you need to reevaluate why you're doing this in the first place. You've got to get it written down. You got to figure out exactly why you're here. And the more that you figure that out, the more excited you're going to be. And then when Zoom calls happen like that, you're going to be like, yep, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. Right? So I'm really excited about this. We're going to talk about this bonus. And here's the thing that I want to share with you guys, because I'm going to get into the map and everything that I want to share with you guys. But I want to share with you a technique that I actually use. And you're going to hear this on the Zoom call next week too. That seriously has changed the game for me. And it's because your mind goes where you focus. Okay. Your enrollments go where you focus. So if you are consistently like, well, I need to get the loyal customers, I need to get the distributors, I need to do this, I need to get the potentials, I need to sell the sample, I need to do this, I need to do that. The reason why you're feeling like you're not getting one specific thing, or you're feeling like you get through the entire month and you have no enrollments, or you might not have any enrollments, is because you're focusing on too many things at once. You are not narrowing it down and narrowing your pathway down. Okay. If you're going on the road, okay, I can't drive to Florida and to Mississippi at the same time, right? I have to take two separate paths. Now I can take a trip to Florida, hit Florida, go out west, and beeline right for Mississippi, right? So you want to think about your business like that. You have to have a pathway that you're going to follow every single day. You have to figure out exactly what you need first. Go to that first. That's your first destination. Then you have to pivot and go the opposite direction. Okay. And so what I mean by that is loyal customers and distributors. I remember when I first got started in this business, and I was consistently signing distributors, and I didn't understand why I couldn't sign any loyal customers. And now it might be the opposite for you. So think about this in the sense of, you might be signing loyal customers like crazy, but you feel like it's the hardest thing to sign a distributor, or maybe you're not signing anybody at all. And so I want you to think about this as in, I'm focusing on too many things at once, and I'm not narrowing it down to what I truly need. And that's why I'm feeling like I'm not getting anything, is because I'm focusing on everything all at once. And I feel like I need to do it all at once. A lot of us who have, lived with anxiety or anything like that, or the fear or the doubt, we tend to do this sometimes, and our brain is so tricky, right? And so what I like to do is I like to focus on one thing at a time. And what I mean by that is, if I know I need a distributor, and I know that, my first step to my 4-in-1s is getting my distributor, right? I know that I'm going to go all in with sending messages for that distributor. And I'm going to focus specifically on asking people about the business. I'm going to be more intentional towards distributors than I am to loyal customers right now. And it's because I know I need those distributors in order to make it happen. And I know that that is possibly my weak point, right? So your mind is going to go where you focus. And so let's just swap it around, and let's just say loyal customers. We also know that we need loyal customers to get a 4-in-1. And maybe you're freaking out like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can get these loyal customers, right? I don't know if I can get anybody to buy this product. What you want to do is you want to start switching it around and focusing intentionally on loyal customers, meaning you're going to literally ask every single person that you can possibly think of about the product, and you're going to get as many post-to-post up as you possibly can every single day. Set yourself a goal that's outside of your reach, because that is where growth is actually going to happen. If you are consistently setting a goal that's maybe like every single day you've been meeting the 5 post-to-post requirement. Every single day you get it, no doubt, no problem, you're making it happen. Set your goal to 10. Because then it actually pushes you to do another 5 more. It pushes you outside of your comfort zone, okay? Now, think about this. A lot of people, they look at this calendar. This is my personal calendar. I don't show this that often, but This is my personal calendar. Okay. If I'm looking at this calendar and I'm telling myself every single day, I'm going to fill this column, that's a stretch for me, right? But I'm going to tell myself that, because when I push for that every single day, it stretches me to stay up later. It stretches me to send one more message. It stretches me to get out of my own way and stop telling myself that I can't. It helps me grow in the meantime because I'm having to push myself to make it happen. And that is where you grow. That uncomfortable feeling of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do it. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can keep up with this. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I have time. I don't know if I have the patience. I don't know if I can hear one more no. Right in that time is when you're going to actually grow. You're going to learn how to outgrow who you are right now and the way that you think. And the more that you do that, the more you're going to expand your thinking, and the more you're going to be able to focus on it and intentionally get the things that you need. Okay. So I focus on one thing at a time. And I for lack of a better words, this is actually, I want to say it was Carrie Young maybe that said something like this. Maybe it wasn't Carrie Young, I don't know. But someone, anyways, on a Zoom call said you got to make an ask of yourself. And what they meant of that is you have to ask as many people as time will allow you to. And so that's where the hustle comes in. And there's some nights where you're going to feel tired. You're going to feel like you need to go to bed, right? But set yourself that goal of, nope, I just need to ask one more person. I just need to ask one more person, right? If you are laying in bed and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can send any more messages, or, you know, you're tired or whatever, just send one more. That's it. Just send one more, right? And the more that you do that, the more momentum you're going to gain, the more growth you're going to have, and the more you're actually going to get those things. So that's my little tip for you guys for how to get what you truly want. You have to focus on it. You have to tell yourself, I'm going to get a distributor. Like, for example, I told myself I'm going to get 2 distributors this week, period, point blank. That's it. Bottom line, that is what's happening. End of story. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I will get on as many calls as I can until I get those 2 distributors. So that's the type of decision making that you have to actually put forward in order to earn this bonus. Without that decision making, you will not make it. And I'm just being so real and so honest with you. You have to make the decision that you're going to make it happen no matter what's going on. So you have to ask more, you have to follow up more, you have to be intentional with that. Here's the thing with this bonus, and I'll be so honest with you. And I know Cheyenne said it last night too. And I just want to kind of repeat exactly what she was talking about. And she said, you don't have time to slack on this. You don't have time to overthink whether you can have this bonus or not. You don't have the time to wait until tomorrow to get started. You don't have the time to not write down your ending goal. You don't have the time to do any of that. There is only 1 month for this specific bonus. And if you want that $6,000 paycheck to drop into your account come the 16th of December, you've got to learn to hustle through it. That is where the growth happens. And that's where diamonds are born, is under pressure. Okay. And so, I think I wanted to share actually this next about this book that I'm reading. And a lot of you guys have heard it over the course of the last 3 weeks. And I've talked about this so many times. If you have not gotten this book, you need it in your hands. I'm dead serious. I don't care whether you're half-assing your business. I don't care whether you are excited to work this every single day. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care if you don't like to read. You've got to get this book. It is a game changer for me. It's called The Mountain Is You, and it is by Brianna Wiest. I think it's Wiest if you're writing it down. Okay. Brianna Wiest. And it's right on Amazon. It's not that expensive at all. You can also get it on Audible, and I believe we have it on YouTube free Audible too. So send me a message. I'll drop it in the chat for you guys after this, but you need to get this book in your hands because it's going to give you a fresh perspective of your life. So there was something that I read this morning that just really, really stood out to me. And I actually talked about it on my story today. If you watched my story, I know some of you do, some of you don't. Totally okay. But it's on page 168 of this. And it's just talking about, you know, fear and, you know, how fear is holding you back and how you're choosing the fear over your progress. And one of the things that it says is that fear is not going to protect you, action is. Worrying is not going to protect you, preparing is. Overthinking is not going to protect you, understanding is. So all of these things that are going on in your head, that's going on in all of our heads, okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I feel all the same things that you feel. I promise you. I am feeling all of the fear. I'm feeling all of the doubt. I feel it every single day and I have to counteract it. But I have to remind myself that that fear that I'm feeling, that I'm choosing to stick with every day, is not going to protect me in the end. It is not going to pull me to that bonus. It is not going to get me the Christmas presents that my kids need with that bonus, right? It is not going to pay my bills this next month like that bonus will pay my bills. It will not pay for my Florida trip the way that bonus will pay for that Florida trip. So I have to choose right now between staying in my head and staying fearful and overthinking and worrying and doubting myself, or I choose to walk in faith that this is going to happen. And even though I don't know if it's going to happen, just like everybody else, right? I am in the same boat as everybody else. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm going to hustle like my life depends on it to make it happen, right? I'm going to focus on it every single day in order to make it happen. I'm going to go all in. And for you guys who have been with me for a year, you know what that looks like. You know that I eat, sleep, and breathe and make it happen. Where things don't fit, I force it, I push it, I go for it. And so I do all of the things. And so when it comes down to it, I wanted to share that with you guys because I feel like a lot of us are holding on to that fear and that doubt and that worry. And it's so important to know that you're not alone, one. And two, the people who are actually going to earn this bonus are those people who are going to choose to walk in faith and push for it instead of letting fear hold them back and letting that fear of failing and that fear of falling hold them back from doing it. You're supposed to fail sometimes, and it's okay if you get very, very close and you don't make it, because you still have so many other opportunities in order to make things happen. So in that moment, you're going to grow and you're going to become better than you've ever been every single time. So I'm going to go for it. And I hope that you guys choose to do the same thing with me. And we're in this together. So I'm so excited about it. So I wanted to also talk to you guys about just the time factor of this, because I know a lot of you work full-time jobs. I know a lot of you are also stay-at-home moms. And I also know that a lot of you have a lot of stuff that you're doing. You're taking care of family. You've got sick family members that you're taking care of. You've got appointments you're going to. You've got all the things that are happening. And so I want to share with you guys kind of how I break things down for myself. And I help myself fit this business in the pockets of my day. So the first thing to knowing how to do that is to know where you're going, to know what exactly you're aiming for. And so you want to make sure you get your chart out. This is my chart. It's also in the group chat. If you need this chart personally, message me right now so that I can get you this chart specifically, or I can give you other options. So I'm so excited about that. They also have it on the group chat. I downloaded them and they are, I don't even know if you guys can see these, but there's also this one that was posted in the group chat. This one's kind of a little bit more messier, and I don't really care for it myself because it's overwhelming to me. However, it might be for you. This one is broken down weekly, which I love. I love the weekly because it forces you to hustle. Okay. I'm going to put this, send this to each person that just messaged me individually right after this Zoom call. And I'm also going to drop it in the chat again. You've got to write this down. You don't have time to skip out on this. You don't have time to not write it down. You don't have time to overthink it or question it or look at it and say, oh, geez, that's a lot of work. No, you've got to write it down. Okay. You've got to make it a priority to make it happen tonight. There is no skipping out on it. We've only got, just a matter of days in order to make it happen. And so you can do it. You just have to make the decision that it is happening for you, no matter what. You're willing to eat, sleep, and breathe it until you make it happen. Okay. So it's important to have that written down so you know exactly what you're going for. So let's just say you're looking at your chart and you know you need loyal customers. Here's what I do. I work in the pockets of my day specifically for that. And I explained this to someone earlier. I think I want to say maybe it was Laura. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it, okay? But I was explaining how I work in the pockets of my day every single day. And usually I start right first thing in the morning, okay? Before I even get up to deal with my kids, okay? My kids are wild, just like everybody else's kids. So don't think that I'm just getting this free ride over here, guys. My children jump off of counters, okay? My children tie things to fans and destroy them, okay? My kids like to walk outside naked by themselves, hoping that they will just make it out there. I don't even know why they do it, okay? That is what it's like being a mom in general. So you're not the only one who is going through these things. You are not the only one who has a crazy life. I worked this business working 2 jobs. So you're not the only one who worked a job and was successful in a business like this. I promise you, we got to take those thoughts out of our head that we are the only ones that are going through these things, and that's why we're not going to be successful. You can be successful because there are hundreds of other women who went through the same damn thing that you're going through right now, and they chose to show up, and that's why they are successful. So you can either choose to show up anyways and choose to figure out ways around it, knowing that your kids are crazy or knowing that your day job's crazy, or you can choose to say, well, I just got that and that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's going to make you fail every single time. Okay. So I want to help you guys kind of manage your time and learn how to fit this into pockets the way that I did right from the start when I was working 80 hours a week every single week. Right when I opened my eyes in the morning, the very first thing that I did was I did my adding. I did any messaging that I had, meaning happy birthdays, mutual friends, anything like that. And then I went ahead and I either did follow-ups or I did messaging, like blunt 15 messages out there for potential loyal customers because I knew that that's what I needed to focus on. I got that done. So when I woke up and my kids started going crazy, or my daughter at the time started going crazy, and I had to get her up, get her ready so I could get off to work, I knew that I already got a ton of stuff done for my work, right? So I already had 3 things, boom, 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 boom. And once I got it done, I could get up and I could get things done for the day, right? I think about my life right now, and my life right now was not the same as it was back then. However, I know that a lot of stay-at-home moms are going to relate to me right now because I am too a stay-at-home mom. Matt does not take care of my kid all day long. I am with my child just as much as he is every single day. I work when he's sleeping mostly. And so I set boundaries with my children. I have taught them over time how to let mom do her job so that we can continue to function as a good family and not a family that's crazy and chaos every single day. Okay. So learning those things about yourself and learning how to teach your kids those same things is going to help you tremendously. Okay. So I start my day with my business. I get that done. Now, usually I have a pocket of time every single day, and you may or may not have this, but usually after I drop my daughter off on the bus, every single day, I have like a pocket of time where I have like 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes it's a little bit less, okay? That's when you see me come inside. I post my TikTok. I post on Facebook. I send 30 messages out on Facebook at least. Sometimes I do 120 messages just in a 10-minute messaging spree. Done. When that timer goes off, I've sent a crap ton of messages, and I just go add 30 people and I'm done for that portion of the morning. Matt and I go and we eat lunch together. That's something that I've earned. I work my ass off for this. I literally busted my butt to get to where I am right now. So we eat lunch together. I spend time with my son. I do the things that he wants to do. I play with his fire trucks and all the things. Sometimes I clean his bedroom. Sometimes I don't because I'm just overwhelmed and it's crazy, right? We're all moms. We know how this works. And so I live my day. And then in the afternoon, that's when I do another 20 minutes or so. I do another 10-minute messaging spree. I add another 30 people. I get another post up, and then I respond to all of my messages. And that's when a lot of you hear from me the most. Am I right? You hear from me a lot in the afternoon, the early afternoon, because that's the time that I'm in my inbox the most. Other times I'm not responding to messages all day long. So don't feel like you need to be on your phone all the time because you don't. You have to pick and choose your hours. You get to, in this business, choose when you're going strictly outbound, and you get to choose when you're inbound. Okay. I am inbound right early afternoon. I am also inbound right after dinner and family time and getting the kids in the shower and all that good stuff. Okay. Every single night, those 2 times is when people hear from me the most. Now, am I sending messages out through the day still? Heck yes, I am. I'm sending messages out all throughout the day. I've got pockets of my day. If I go to the bathroom, I'm sending messages out. If I am sitting around and my son is just playing and I'm not really doing anything, and I would normally scroll through Facebook, but instead I'm choosing to send messages on my Facebook. Sometimes does it feel like I'm pulling myself or I'm pushing myself in order to make it happen? Yes, I feel that same tension all the time. I feel that same pull, that same feeling of like I'm dragging my feet to make it happen. I promise you, I go through the same exact things, but I just do the dang thing. I just show up for it. I remember why I'm doing it. And this is why it's so important to know your why, know what that $6,000 will pay for, and be connected to it. Live in it. Make the decision that it's happening. Live knowing that that is going to be yours. And the more that you do that, the more it's actually going to come true, because you're going to push yourself to make it happen every single day. And you're going to do all the small pieces of work that actually come together and push you to get there. Okay. So that's how I kind of manage my time. Now, when I was working 2 jobs, it was the same thing, pockets of my day. I knew that I was going to be working a first shift that was a 12-hour long shift, right? So I was going to make it happen regardless. I had to figure out, okay, well, when am I going in? When am I getting out? Guys, we know when we are going into work every day. We know when we're getting out of work every day, right? We know about the time when our kids wake up. We know the time that we usually try to put our kids to bed, right? We know when we go to the bathroom and take a dump, right? We know all these things. So it's so important to know that if you know all these things already, you can't stop playing dumb in your own life and start taking charge of your time. Start figuring out where it is going to fit for you. And that's what a business owner does. Okay. You are a business owner. When you ordered that starter kit, that was the first day that you started running your own business. And business owners show up like business owners, right? If you want to get paid like a business owner, you're going to show up and figure out where this is going to fit in every day. If you want to get paid like a hobby, which hobbies you have to pay in, right? If you want to have to pay into your business consistently and not get anything in return, then you're going to work it like a hobby, which is, not showing up for it, not choosing to control your time, choosing to let time control you, choosing to do this instead of working your business, or go out on a, out to dinner with your friends instead of working your business, or you're going to choose to put it on the back burner every single day. And that's going to lead you down that path. So I think it's really important to understand the difference between that. So I want to share this visualization exercise because we all know that it starts with the vision of your life and where you're going. So something that they shared last night on the Zoom call that I thought was freaking awesome, and I already did this myself. I actually have this little book right here that I journal in, and anything that I think of throughout the day, I just write it down. I write it down in this journal, and I've got it written down in here, and it seriously was a game changer for me, because I was like, holy crap, I haven't done this in so long. I did this a lot when I first started my business. So you want to write these tasks down so that you can do it too, because it's going to help you. If you need to do this every day, do it until you get this bonus and make it happen, because it's going to change everything for you. It's going to give you that solid vision of where you need to be. So it's going to allow you to make this business a priority. Okay. So what you're going to take a piece of paper, and you can do this after the Zoom call. Okay. You're going to take a piece of paper, and on this piece of paper, you're going to split it into 2. Okay. You're going to write on one side why you believe that you can't earn this bonus. What is everything that is holding you back from this? So I'm going to share this with you guys, and I don't do this for anybody, but I know you're my team, and I know that you need to hear these things from someone that you're following every single day and walking in the same path that I am. One of the things that I wrote down on here was lack of time because my kids are crazy. Okay. Did anybody else think that they would write something like that down? Because I feel you. Okay. My life is crazy. If you have ever gotten a voice message from me, you know I'm in 10 places at once, usually. And it's because I've got 5 other things that 5 other hats that I wear every single day that I'm trying to juggle. Another thing that I said was my Facebook account freezes all the time. That's another reason why I had in my head, you can't do this because Facebook's not going to allow you to. Okay, that's Facebook. I said lack of followers. Any of you guys who have talked to me about growing your network have, talked to me, and I've explained to you that my following has dropped just like yours. If you've been with me for years, you know that your friends list has dropped like crazy. And it's because of Facebook being crazy, right? So my following has dropped. And I'm just nervous because I don't have the amount of friends that I did last year when I earned that last bonus. Okay. Now here's another thing, lack of potentials. How many of you guys have that fear? Just a show of hand. Lack of potential loyal customers or potential distributors that you have talked to on your paper. We all know it's seed planting season. So what I mean is, using that analogy that we were talking about, I mean, I have lack of seeds. That's one of my worries, lack of seeds and lack of seeds planted. Okay. That's what made me nervous on here. That was one of the things that was up in my head that was holding me back. Lack of influence. Okay. That always makes me nervous, that I have lack of influence on Facebook. And I know some of you guys are worried about that also. And then anxiety. I legit wrote a medical diagnosis on here that it would hold me back from earning money. Okay. These are things that go through your leader's head just as much as they go through your head. Now I want to go show you the other side. And the other side, on the other side of that paper, you're going to write why you need this, or how you can fight against this, how you can switch it and make it opposite. Okay. How you can overcome these limiting beliefs that are in your head. So I was talking about my kids and chaos and everything. And it says, I need this for my kids for Christmas and to keep a roof over their head. So instead of focusing on, I can't do this because of my kids, I can't do this because of my kids, I switched my thinking on this piece of paper to, I need to do this because of my kids. I need to do this because I got to pay my bills, right? I've got to make this a priority. And so it's going to have that in my mind. Instead of saying Facebook is freezing my account, I can choose when I message and make it so that it goes in a time frame where it is not affecting how many I can send. Okay. Did you guys know that you can actually sporadically send your messages? It does not have to be a 10-minute messaging spree every single time. It can be 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and you can actually be more intentional. So instead of saying 5 minutes, you could say, I'm going to send 20 messages. Okay. You could say, I'm going to send 20 messages. 5 messages are going to be for host to post. 15 of them are going to be for potential loyal customers, or opposite. So I'm going to space my workload out. So I'm not going to do it all at once, because if I do it all at once, then it's going to make it almost impossible for me to not get blocked. So this is how I'm going to figure out how to cheat Facebook and make it happen. Okay. Another thing is that I can work Instagram. So Instagram is a second platform that we actually work. So I'm counteracting that by saying, Chelsea, you need to bite it in the butt and start working Instagram. I know you're afraid of Instagram, but you got to get up and make it happen, right? So if Facebook is freezing you and it's locking you out and it's putting you in jail all the time, just know there's other platforms. Okay. 1, 2, interacting is a big deal. You got to interact every single day. The more you interact, the less likely you are to get frozen. And the next thing is spacing your workload out. So maybe you're not sending 150 messages in the morning. Maybe you're just sending 20. And then you're doing 20 early afternoon, 20 every single time you go to the bathroom. Habit stack it, right? I do this all the time, because normally that's the only time I can really get alone with my kids awake is in the bathroom. So that's what I do. I lock myself in there for about 10 minutes, and that's all I do is just work my business for 10 minutes straight. And my kids know that. They know it. They get used to it, right? So that's the other thing. Okay. So lack of followers. Adding more people on Instagram. Okay. Adding more people on Instagram. I'm adding more people on Facebook. I'm spreading it out. So I solved my own problem. And that's what she said last night. She said, you're going to write all the reasons why you can't do it on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, you're going to solve your own problem, and you're going to write down every single reason why you can, and every single reason why you need to. Okay. I wrote down lack of influence on the other side. Get back with your branding. Learn your brand. Start using your brand every single day. What I mean by that is know who you are. There's 5 subjects in every single person's life that they can use to brand themselves on social media. Maybe you're a mom. Maybe you're learning how to grow. Maybe you like to do DIY projects. Maybe you are learning things about a poor relationship that you were in, and you're working on fixing yourself and helping yourself grow out of that, right? Maybe you're going to brand yourself along that way. Maybe you are into, I don't know, sewing, baking. Maybe you work a full-time job and you're learning time management. Okay. You could brand yourself learning time management. Maybe you are just really good at word games, anything like that. You could brand yourself on that. I saw a girl on TikTok. She literally is a mom of like 3 kids, and she branded herself doing mom raps. Okay. Anybody else see that? She's really, really good at it actually, but she branded herself as that. So people are actually watching her, and those people who are watching her are also moms, and they feel the same thing that she says in her raps. And they're pretty funny too. So, same with anxiety. That was my last thing. How many of you guys feel like being anxious really holds you back from a lot of things in your life? Having anxiety or a mental illness in general, just raise your hand, because that's literally where I've been since I started this business. So before I started this business, I was diagnosed with anxiety, severe anxiety, okay, like crippling, postpartum depression, PTSD, and depression in general. Okay. So it's important to know that I am literally living with every single one of those every single day, diagnosed with it. I was given medication for it for years, and I'm completely medicine free. Like, I do not take anything. And the reason being is because of my mindset. I did not start this business with this mindset. Okay. I promise you that. I started a hot mess. I was messy. I yelled a lot. I screamed a lot. I was not a good person. I was not very nice to my other half. I gave him anxiety a lot. I gave my kid anxiety a lot. We're going through a lot of it because a lot of stuff because I did that when she was younger. And it's just nuts how we allow this to hold ourselves back instead of getting our mindset right. And a lot of us, we don't even realize that you can change your mindset. We don't even realize that we can outgrow who we are right now. We don't even know what mindset is. Half of us don't even know what that even means, right? And so the more that you actually read books and listen to podcasts and you get around like-minded people who just want more for their life, the more you're going to outgrow who you are. And what it means to grow your mindset is to mature. This is something that people get into their 60s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s and still don't do. Okay. They are walking around living in a 60-year-old's body, but they are in the mindset of a 20-year-old kid. And most people, that's exactly where they stay for the rest of their life. And so I want to teach you how to get out of that cycle, get away from it. And it's going to require you to show up for your mindset every single day. So I wrote on this, I said, my anxiety on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, I said, get your mind right every single morning. There is no question about it if I'm going to get my mind right every single day, because it says right here, I can choose between anxiety and being anxious all day long or getting my mind right. Which one am I going to choose every single day? Right? I have to make that decision for myself. And so I wrote that down. So I think it's really important that we do this exercise every single day, or at least once a week, writing these things down. What are all your fears? What are all your worries? Write them down as you go. Anything that you're worried about, anything that you're fearful of when it comes to changing your life. and then counteract it on the other side. This is how you gain a growth mindset. Those of us who have anxiety, we need this. You need this probably more than you know that you need this, okay? And I know that because I'm on the other side. I know now, and I didn't know before. So I want to help you get out of that cycle. Another great strategy that you can use in order to earn this bonus is write down on your paper right now $6,000. Okay. Then I want you to spend that money on that piece of paper. What is every single dollar going to go towards? You need to know what you're fighting for. You got to know where you're aiming. Otherwise, it's like taking a bow and arrow and shooting a target that you can't friggin' see. You have to know where you're aiming. You got to know what that target is, right? You don't want to say, well, I want to take a trip down south, but not know where you're landing, because guess what? You're going to get halfway there, get burnt out, get so anxious, you're going to turn around and you're going to say, well, I guess I'll just go back home because I don't know where I'm going and I don't know how I'm going to make it, right? My parents did this one time. That's the only reason why I use that analogy, okay? They said they were going to Florida, or they said they were going down south. They don't know where they were going. They got halfway to Florida and they were like, okay, well, the truck's crap in the bed and I don't know if I can make it here. And they got nervous and they turned around and came back home to their comfort zone. Guess where they are? Still in Maine. Still in Maine. So it's so important to know these things. Break it down. So I literally took this and I broke down every single bill that we had that bonus is going to pay for. I wrote down, just certain things that I was going to pay for that was extra, how much I wanted for Christmas, how much I want for my Florida trip that's coming up in January, and then how much I was going to put in savings and save and put to the side. So I've got all of these things written down in detail, and I'm going to do it every single day until I make it happen. I'm going to write this down and I'm going to get loud about it. And this brings me to my last point, okay? You got to get loud about what you're doing. It does nothing for you, okay? It does nothing for you to sit here and write these things down and think about them and, talk to just your upline about it. It does nothing about it. You have to get loud about what you're doing. You got to tell the people that are surrounding you. And maybe the people that are in your immediate life are not supportive of you working this business. And I get it, because my mom didn't understand it at all. My mom had tried several of these and it didn't work, right? My sister told me to go get a real job when I first started this business. And she's never done this business before. I had friends who told me, oh, you're one of those rap girls, and made fun of me. Guess what? They never worked this business. The reason why they are saying those things is because they don't have the friggin' balls to do what you're doing right now. And so you have to understand that those people who are negative around you, their opinions don't matter, because they're never going to have the guts to do it, period. And you don't want to listen to those other people who you would not want to trade places with. So you got to get loud about it. And even if you can't get loud necessarily with those people that are right immediately around you, get loud on social media. Start showing up for yourself. Start talking about where you come from, what was life like before you started this business. Step one, this is how you share your story if you didn't know this, okay? If you're brand new. What was your life like before you started this business? Step two, how did you find this business and what were some of your objections? What were some of the fears, the doubts, the worries that you had? Number three, what is this bonus going to do for you? What is this business going to do for you? What is it going to pay for that you're so excited? People need to see you connect those dots, because they don't know. They're stuck still at that first dot. And the only way that they can get to that second dot and really commit to it is if you show them the way. People need people to follow. Okay. So you're going to be that person that people follow. And that's how you gain your distributors. You put it out there, what your life was like before and the struggles that you were going through, financially, mentally, emotionally, relationships, all the things. And then you're going to talk about how this business found you and what were your objections, because that's how you're going to connect to people. And then you're going to show them where they can go. And after that, you're going to invite them in every single time. You have to get loud about this, not just on your posts, but on your stories too. You've got to shout it out on Facebook, Instagram, stories. If you're doing TikTok, you can shout it out on TikTok. talk about it every single day, and you have to say it in a way that you know that you're doing it. Not a, I hope I win this bonus because that would really help me, right? No, we got to stand up for it and say, by golly, I'm going to hit this bonus and it's going to make it, I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to show up for it every single day. And I'm so excited for those people who are getting started in me, because I'm going to be the best leader that there's ever been, and I'm going to make it happen. You have to have that confidence that you're not willing to back down until you make it happen. And that's how you get your people and your influence on social media. And that's also how you put it out there. And once you put it out there, it's almost like you don't want to look dumb, right? Like sometimes I put it out there and I'll say, like, I'm going for this bonus, and I do that and I get really loud about it because I want to be held accountable. And what better way to be held accountable for it than telling 5,000 friends on Facebook that you're going to do it, right? It's going to push you to make it happen. Is it going to be scary? Heck yeah, it is, girlfriend. But that's how you're going to grow through it. That's how you're going to become the best leader that you just promised them that you were going to become, right? That's how you're going to hit that bonus, is through growing. So it's so important to know that, and it's so important to get loud. Tell your upline, tell your sideline, tell your entire team. I don't care who you tell, but you got to get loud about it. You got to talk about it with literally everybody, and share it. So I'm super excited for this. I'm so glad that every single one of you guys hopped on this. And I hope that you guys have a great night, and appreciate you getting on. Love you guys, and I hope you have a great night.